Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Covering both sides of the big issues with the analysis you trust on News Radio 1040 WHO.
President Trump seems annoyed, and with the constant attention on the supposed client list that exists of Jeffrey Epstein. He says, I don't know why people continue to talk about it. I do. I mean, it really is a saga of whether or not the rich and powerful can get away with things in this country. I did want to talk it over, though, with my go-to guy on legal issues. Jeremy Rosenthal is back on the Davison Family Dentistry Newsmaker line. Jeremy, welcome back to WHO Radio. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, Jeremy. So as an attorney, I want to ask you about this. We've got these people connected with human trafficking, and we've got the victims. I mean, in your mind as an attorney, is it unusual that we have not charged anyone with molesting these young girls? If there was human trafficking going on, then there were men, I think, mistreating these young girls. Is this unusual that nobody's been charged with this?
This is a real difficult situation, obviously, from a lot of standpoints. And putting my prosecutor hat on, putting my lawyer hat, and trying to kind of figure out who would get prosecuted and why. You've got some difficult things going on here. You've got some very blurry jurisdictional issues because you've got this guy who's got his own island, and then you've got issues with the testimony of the people who were around it, and you're functionally trying to prosecute a den of thieves, if you will, where you can't really take anybody's word for it. You've got some victims, certainly. And the state, or I'll say this, the federal government, they get interested a lot more in the human trafficking aspect than they do the actual molestation. Now, they'll do that type of cases. They'll do those types of cases. But most times when you're talking about assaultive offenses, in most instances, the state entity is going to prosecute that. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But you just have a lot of blurry stuff here. And you would hope that if some of the names that are on the list or some of the people who are involved here, that there may not be a whole lot of evidence actually connecting them to some of these atrocities, which I don't think you can label as anything other than that. And if they're not, then maybe it's irresponsible to kind of throw their names out there.
Attorney Jeremy Rosenthal on News Radio 1040 WHO. And Jeremy, yesterday President Trump was expressing real frustration that this continues to be a story. To what extent do you blame the Attorney General for this, Pam Bondi? I mean, she really went out there and said, I got this list on my desk. She really overstepped, don't you think?
Oh, this is an unforced error, for sure. And the Attorney General has fed this monster, to be sure. And I haven't gone back and checked a lot of the campaign stories from last year, but I think that this has been a drum that the president and a lot of his ardent supporters have really been beating for a long time here, which is there's a cover-up with these Epstein files. And then when you show up one day and say, well, there's not a list and there's not this and there's not of that, and I don't even know if we have a desk anymore, and who is Jeffrey Epstein anyway? When you come to work and say that one day, you're going to get a lot of hard questions, which is where they are. And to your point with the Attorney General, she contributed to the frenzy beforehand.
Attorney Jeremy Rosenthal, News Radio 1040 WHO. So in your estimation, Jeremy, is this where it ends? I mean, we are going to talk about this for a while, but does it ultimately fade from the news? Is there anything else to be learned? Or, again, you understand the frustration that's going on here. People think that the rich and powerful are getting away with something here that people that don't have money wouldn't get away with. But is this the end of the line for this story?
This is a rash that will flare up occasionally. And it's a news cycle for one thing. So it'll be here today, it'll be gone tomorrow. But I don't know that this story will ever completely be forgotten. You talk about Geraldo Rivera. Remember him in the vault? This is kind of like that, and that was, I think, in 1980 something. So we still remember that. So I don't know that this will ever completely disappear from the public consciousness, but I don't think it's going to be the tip of our tongues either.
Attorney Jeremy Rosenthal, I always appreciate his realistic perspective on the top legal issues of the day. Jeremy, thanks for joining us this morning.